this is David Anderson, and I am here at Arrowhead Building Supply in St. Charles, Missouri. It's about 9 p.m. Tuesday, the 3rd of November, and we got a lot of folks here who are taking a look at the results of the election to see who's going to be our winners tonight, both statewide and also across the nation. So we're going to find out what some of these folks have to say, ask them about their opinions and why they're here in support of our president for re-election Trump 2020 campaign. So let's go find out. We're actually standing here in front of a house within a house at Arrowhead Building Supply. If you take a look inside of here, they actually manufactured a house inside of a warehouse, which is pretty cool. So I'll give you a quick tour. Follow me. And I'm with Onder here, who was actually working at the St. Charles Arena, one of the polling stations that they had out there. So he's going to explain a bit of what he's been experiencing and kind of his viewpoints. So,
in terms of working at the polling center, I worked at the Family Arena Center over here, and it was a pretty large area. There was a lot of people. I've a lot of different types of folks as well. You know, I've had some folks would hold up the signs, give me a thumbs down. They would look at me with some sort of I wouldn't say malice, but mostly disdain. They didn't exactly like seeing at least people like us around the area. They're very much they're very much against what we were standing for, I suppose.
So you were over at St. Charles Arena. Was there a huge turnout? Were there a lot of people there?
Lots of people. There was like a lot of people, yeah.
And was there like a huge line going outside too?
It wraps around one lane, like it would zigzag. But yeah, it wrapped all around to the very back of the arena from the entrance. Yeah, it was a very large line, and it took a while for a lot of folks to get there.
How long were you out there for? Like, what time did you get there?
I woke up at 4 in the morning, and we got there by 7, and we were there all the way till 7.
Oh my goodness! And the time right now, it's pretty late as it is. So you've been out doing a lot of work today.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And what was one of the candidates that you were helping to work with?
We were assisting Adam Schwadron, one of the current Republican candidates for state rep. We've been prior to this, we were door knocking for him for like the past 3 weeks.
Okay.
And alongside we were helping another fellow named Phil Cristofanelli, for state rep as well.
Okay.
And we came out there to support the candidate, because we believe in what he stands for. At least I certainly do. So he's a good guy from what I ascertain. When we met at the polling center, he was there to just be with the voters, talk to them a few times, and just see if we can get a win.
Let me ask you this. I understand you're a Trump supporter. I'm a Trump supporter myself. What are some of the reasons you support Trump at this current time and situation?
I grew up as Catholic, then I lost my faith a little bit, then I returned. I've grown much more traditional and much more old-fashioned.
Yeah.
And nowadays, I feel like the other side doesn't really carry the types of views I carry. In terms of abortion, I think it's immoral, it's a sin, and I think it should be done away with. And the fact that this country's allowed it to kind of keep going on, it really speaks volumes about how pretty evil this country can be. In terms of immigration. I mean, I'm Hispanic myself, but I'm very much the line of get in line. Just get in line. It takes a while, but it's for that way for a reason. Just want to make sure we want to know who comes into the country. And I'm fine with that too. And then there's the gun issue, and there's a whole manner of issues. And I feel like President Trump pretty much supports what I support, and that's why I'm a big Trump supporter for him.
I love to hear that. Let me ask you this. Have you noticed within the Hispanic community, I don't know if you keep in touch or not, but is there a lot of support for Trump? What have you been seeing in terms of...
It's hit or miss most of the time. Definitely when I was in high school, when I came out as a Trump supporter, a Republican, I definitely lost a few friends, as we all would. I was called all manner of names, saying I just didn't care for my people. I don't really see it that way. The people I'm associated with is the American people, irregardless of skin color.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, since 2016, what was it? 35% Hispanic. Right now, it's at 45% now. Yeah, I think a lot of Hispanics are kind of saying that he's not such a bad guy after all. You know, I've certainly saw the case in 2016 when I was actually hard left for a little bit. And I started watching figures like Milo Yiannopoulos or Ben Shapiro, Charlie Kirk, all the rest, in the conservative movement. And I started listening to Trump, what he actually was saying. Listening to clips in full context. And yeah, he doesn't seem like a bad guy. It just seems like he's blatantly and purposely made to be misunderstood. So yeah, I've been called very much like racist for this too. It's that's normally the go-to for these types of people. They don't like to hear basically just what comes down to biology and genetics. It's just, I'm not saying it's inherently in our blood to vote this type of way, but if you look at the patterns, I mean, when you bring up the Cubans when they escape a communist regime, they tend to vote red, whereas Mexicans who come from south of the border legally or illegally, they tend to vote blue. I think it's just an interesting pattern. Am I saying that they're predisposed to do so? No, but it's observation. I've noticed it. And I just can't help but notice it because, the majority of immigrants from the South are, people from Latin America, Mexico, stuff like that. And, as opposed to Cubans who understand what this type of government can do to them. And seeing Americans, especially college campus Americans, stand in favor for a socialist communist regime, it boggles them. It tells it basically just, what are they doing, basically? But yeah, definitely there's a difference between Cubans and Mexicans in terms of our voting patterns, I suppose.
Excellent. Well, Omar, I really appreciate your insight and thank you for all you're doing to help get people educated and also help encourage people to vote.
Of course, appreciate it.
Yeah, very good. All right. I'm here with definitely Hollie. She is a local celebrity, and she's going to explain to us some of her reasons why she's out here supporting our president, and also kind of share with us some information that she has. So, Hollie, I'll go ahead and hand you the microphone, and you can take it away.
Great. How y'all doing? I'm definitely Hollie. I am a conservative millennial who believes in conservative values, morals. I am pro-gun, I am pro-law enforcement, and I am pro-life. I believe all these things because I had two wonderful parents who instilled these values and morals in me early on. I had discipline in my house growing up, and I had faith, most importantly. But also, not only that, I never bought into the indoctrination in schools. I always thought for myself, I was an independent thinker, along with having those conservative morals and values and background and everything that my parents instilled in me. I was an independent thinker, and I also experienced life. I went through all these life experiences, and that also shaped my views as a conservative. And unfortunately, we have a lot of millennials out there who are not conservative, and they're not in tune with reality. They don't know what's going on, and we have a lot of people who are older who don't know what's going on. They don't keep up with the news. They don't research the different issues that we have in society, in the world, in the United States, and that's sad. We need more people in tune with that and researching, because again, it's a very tight race tonight, and that worries me because you have all these people that come from other countries like Venezuela. They come here for freedom. So again, what about their kids? So when their kids grow up in the US and they're put through the liberal school system, what is that going to do to their minds? So again, it's another world out there. We need to be standing up, and I'm not going to be part of the silent majority. I refuse to be, because we need to speak up and we need to be loud and speak up for not only our president, but for us as a whole, the United States.
How did you get involved in the Patriot movement here in St. Charles or here in Missouri?
Sure. So, I kind of just went out there. I started introducing myself to different people. I, trained a lot with different people in like different, gun clubs, different gun organizations. I've been all over the United States training with guns and firearms, but also just, introducing myself to the local representatives, the local senators, getting in touch with them and introducing myself and talking about the different issues. That's been a huge help as well. So again, I attend, gun right rallies around the area. I attend pro-life rallies around the area. Anything that is pro-Trump. I just got done speaking at a pro-Trump rally about a month ago, pro-law enforcement. So that's kind of what I do.
That's cool. What was a pivotal breaking moment in your life that caused you to rise to the top, to start to be a voice and to start to speak out about these issues regarding freedom? Was there anything that kind of set it off for you? Like anything that kind of ignited it?
Just I am a former news reporter, so just being behind the scenes in that area, I was a breaking news reporter, and I saw a lot of what was going on, and the bias and not being truthful and spreading false narratives. I seen that firsthand with where I worked in Tennessee. So that was kind of, a breaking point too. And I wanted to get my voice out there because the left tells you, hey, this is what you should believe and this is how things should go. And, millennials are all, far left liberals, but I'm like, hey, no, they're not.
Can you explain to us any examples of problems where they were trying to to make you report the information, but in a slanted angle or falsely?
Like a quick example would be the place where I worked, the news station where I worked. I wanted to do a story on guns because guns were selling out during this time like crazy. This was years back, and all the gun shops in the local area, guns were selling out, ammo was selling out. But because they didn't believe in guns and they didn't like that. That was not what their narrative was trying to say. They didn't like that, so they did not want me to do a story on that when all the other news stations did stories on that.
What do you think was part of the reasoning as to why, a local news station, they did not want to cover the issue about guns? Was there something, did they think it was going to reflect on them negatively, or was it just, I'm trying to follow.
Right, I think it was just, sure, I think it was more so that, I was one of the few conservatives, and I knew that just from talking with different people at the news station. I was one of the few conservatives, and they were anti-gun, and they did not like firearms, even though the area where we lived was very pro-gun. It was a military area. But again, the public wanted to know this information because it's newsworthy. But again, it didn't fit their narrative, and they didn't want to talk about guns, so they wanted just to push that away and do other stories.
Of course, we see with fake news, you really can't trust anything that they say. So you've had a chance to actually be inside the belly of the beast and see how it goes on. It sounds like there's a lot of liberals who are running these news stations.
Yes.
Well, of course, you were conservative, so you had a chance to work for them. But does a conservative actually stand a chance amongst all these liberals at these stations?
I mean, it was hard. I mean, they did report. I'm not saying everything they reported was false, but I saw, that also. Yeah. So I got to experience that, and that was kind of a wake-up call for me too, because it was going against everything that I was taught as a journalist. Was I went to school for broadcast journalism. You report the news, not your narrative, not being biased, and of course that was biased where I was.
yeah, we see that happen all the time.
Absolutely.
I'm just trying to get a better understanding as to why these stations, these news stations, have control over our information and why they slant it in such a way. So it sounds like it's because mainly most of the folks who are running it are hired by these corporations who own the news companies. They hire mainly liberals.
Yes, far left liberals, and that was to fit their story, their narrative, their beliefs.
I appreciate you sticking your neck out and then deciding, to actually be a leader and stay in this position. So.
Absolutely. I mean, I tell everyone, life is chasing opportunities. You aren't owed anything in life, and I don't care what the left says, but no one owes you anything. You go after opportunities in life. Success is what you make it.
That's right. Could you explain to folks who are watching a little bit more about what you do, some of your different professional work?
So I help out Ultimate Defense in St. Peters, Missouri, where we are now. That is a gun training facility and gun shop. So Ultimate Defense sells firearms. They are an actual gun range, so we have ammo as well, and we have tons of classes: concealed carry classes, pistol classes, rifle classes, ladies' nights for everyone.
That sounds cool. Mm-hmm. And then so you also have a social media following. Could you let folks know so they can get connected?
So definitely Hollie. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram. I do have a YouTube too. I'm still building my YouTube, but you will find some hilarious AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez impersonations on my YouTube channel.
Okay, cool. And then what was the other thing? Do you have a website that people can get?
Yes, I was just going to mention that too. You caught me. www.definitely-hollie.com.
Okay, and I understand that you also do speaking engagements, so people.
I do public speaking as well. Yeah, you contact me, definitelyhollie@gmail.com. But again, go to my website, definitely-hollie.com. But yes, I do speaking engagements as well.
Hollie, thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. Make sure to hit up her website and check out Definitely Hollie. I'm here with Dr. Bob Onder, and let's see, if you could start off with just telling us what type of work you're doing politically.
Yeah, I'm a state senator for Missouri. I represent the 2nd senatorial district, the western part of St. Charles County.
And what got you involved with politics in a sense?
Well, you know, I've been very blessed. My family has been very blessed by this great country of ours, by this state, by this county of St. Charles. And I felt I wanted to give back. I wanted to use my skills, my talents, to serve the people of my district, to serve our state, but most of all to serve the cause of freedom and liberty in our country.
Absolutely. And then let's see, another question I have for you is, what's your stance right now on Trump? I'm a pro-Trump person myself.
Right. No, I think Trump has been a phenomenal president, our best president since Ronald Reagan. I think he's done a great job. He had our economy running on full steam ahead before this COVID virus, and even then, under Trump's leadership, our country is bouncing back. Record job creation in the last quarter. He's improved our standing, the coherence of our foreign policy, stopping these endless wars that the United States has had a way of getting into under previous presidents, and at the same time really done a lot to move our judicial branch of government to where it should be, where it's interpreting laws, calling balls and strikes, and not making up laws as it went along. And so I think Donald Trump's reshaping the judiciary, especially with 3 U.S. Supreme Court picks. He really is going to make his mark on our American system for a generation or more.
And what are some of your plans? I believe you have some more years in office here in Missouri. What are some things that you're working on right now to improve our state and also to continue to help serve the people?
Yeah, I am working. I have 2 more years. I'm in my 6th out of 8 years. We have term limits in Missouri, which I think is a good thing. Mm-hmm. And right now, I've actually been working a lot on lawsuits around the country where far left governors and mayors like Mayor de Blasio and Governor Cuomo and Governor Gavin Newsom in California are really overreaching in this name of COVID, shutting down churches and businesses in really irrational ways, really ways that show very little respect for our rights of free association and freedom of religion. So I've been helping believers around the country fight for religious liberty, and to be able to reopen. If you can reopen your big box store or your laundromat or your casino, you ought to be able to go to church or go to synagogue and worship as you see fit.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate everything that you're doing, and thank you for keeping us up to date.
Thank you. No, thank you for your work.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Bob.
Thanks a lot.
That about wraps it up for Anderson Media's coverage here at Arrowhead Building Supply for the November 3rd election results event. All right, God bless. Until next time.